Hi everyone, so today we're going to be having a look at Google Sites. Now Google Sites is a really useful tool. You can use it in a lot of different ways. We're going to be having a look at some of the basic stuff of getting created and started, but we're going to be jumping on fairly quickly into having a look at how I've used it in my classroom, how I know other departments have used it as well, and generally thinking about other uses that we can come up with it. It's fairly straightforward to create a Google site. If you go to your Google Drive, click on New, More, and then go down to Google Sites. It's pretty straightforward. Or you can just go to sites.new. We'll also do the same trick for you. Now, this is what part of the functionality of Google Sites, and it is really useful. This is the Radial Tool. Now, if I go over here to an example site, all I need to do to bring up my options is double click, and it will bring up a Radial Tool of all of my different options I can do. Adding a picture, uploading, adding in something from Drive, embedding a file, or just adding some text. Then I simply need to click, and it will insert a text box. You can rearrange this and move it around using the guidelines that Google inserts so usefully, but it's really useful. You can do it at any location just to add in your Radial Tool and bring up your options that you've got available to you. Now, part of the beauty of Google Sites is also part of its biggest problem. It's really simple. It's really useful for giving to lower year groups, letting them get started, experiment with it. You can't go too far wrong with it. Doesn't require any real coding knowledge, and you can do a lot with it with the basic settings. But once you exhaust those options, it does start to become quite limiting. Having a look at some of the different options that you do have, if you've typed in some text here, then you only do have 5 different options for how that text can look, from normal, title, heading, subheading, and small. It will then color it accordingly as well and choose the layout for it. You can't really choose fonts, you can't customize that much more beyond that. It does get quite limiting once you've gotten used to it, but as I said, for getting your basics starting, it's really useful. In addition to this, you've got 3 different backgrounds, 6 different layouts, and 13 other embeddable formats. So your backgrounds you can access with this over here, and you've only got a few different options. You can get it very custom when you can start uploading images, but the basic ones you can start off with, very limiting. These are your layouts here. All you need to do to include these is simply click on it, and it will insert that layout for you. And then you can add in the bits that you want as well. So it's already got the formatting done there for you. So that's quite nice. And then you've got these sections here as well. So say if I go back up to my section here and I want to make it collapsible, then all you need to do is click to insert, and it will put in a collapsible text box that will then need to be accessed via the arrow. So there's some different simple things in here. You can add in dividers very easily to separate sections. You can embed from YouTube, add in maps, and other things from Google Docs generally. Google Drive generally, I mean. You can then start to look at different pages within it. So you start off with your basic home page, and it's very simple just to add in new pages into this. And they'll show up automatically here as part of your contents list within your page. Once this is loaded, it will generate a whole new blank one here. And then you can start inserting other pages as subpages and go from there. Like I said, very straightforward. You've got simple themes as well that you can use, and this will start to customize things further. So there's a few different options, but there's not a huge amount. You can take things further. You can use some of the embedding tools available to you to extend the functionality of Google Sites. Now, this starts looking into coding, basically. For me, this was something that I had to learn from scratch when I was setting up my Google site, and I'm still exploring a lot of these different options. This here is a website called W3 Schools, and they're using a program called Bootstrap. And what they're doing is they're giving you different preset options that can be put into Google Sites. For example, having oval or circular images, and they've given you all of the coding written. So all you need to do is, once you've got the coding that you want to try and use, copy and paste it, go back to your Google site, and this is how you can then use the embed tool to embed code into your website. I'm not going to go into that a lot right now, but there are a lot of different options for it. For example, you can have a look at this video here. This is by an individual called Siti. His videos are amazing. I highly recommend checking them out. And he's got an advanced Google Sites video that you can have a look at. I will probably be doing one on Bootstrap and my learning journey through that at some point in the future, but you can have a look at here for now. What I've done with Google Sites in my classroom was we were doing our IPC unit Champions for Change, and we were focusing on individuals that made change in society. We extended this for our learners by giving them the opportunity to create pressure groups, and they were then able to design their own websites based on what their site was about. So for example, here we've got the Balanced Income Society. This is one of our group web pages. They've managed to, in only 5 hours of work as a group, add in a lot of different information, a lot of different pages, logos, background images, and experiment as well, which is a really time-consuming but important section as well, where they've begun to experiment with the different formats as well. Now, I think I've got a lot to develop on when I do this unit next time, giving them more opportunities and guidance on getting these set up. But I wanted to show this as an example of what I did on the first time I was trying to use Google Sites with my class and how much they managed to accomplish in just a short amount of time, and I was really impressed by it. A lot of it does come down to the simplistic options, means you can't go too far wrong with it. This here is the TBS Maths Department's website. This is also a Google site. This is what it looks like when it's a little bit more polished, and it's been pulled together in a very nice way. It's really simple. It's got a very basic layout, but it's really, really useful and really clear for parents and learners to access. You can very simply start to categorize your sections into parents and students. You can offer a lot of different information in a very condensed way using this. So it's really, really useful tool. And then this is my website. My website is just done through Google Sites. I wanted to show this one not quite so much just for self-aggrandizing, but because I tried to pull away from using the Google Sites basic formats, and I wanted to have my own fonts, I wanted to have my own images in there, and I wanted to explain a little bit about how I achieved this. So for example, these here we've got as the different loading, the different icons that take me to my different sections within my Google site, and these are just individual Google slides that I then downloaded as a JPEG and uploaded to my Google Sites. The same as over here. If I show you the Breakfast Bites section, this is our weekly training session. Here, we've got the slides that are being brought in from Google Drive, and then over here, I've got the text that's explaining it. This is just quite simply, again, a set of slides that have the same format. It's only an image here. There's no actual text. You can see if I change it, it's not actually a text file here. But you can start getting a lot of consistency and flexibility in your options using this by inserting your images from elsewhere and using the fact that you can insert files from Drive. So there's a lot of experimentation that can lead to a lot of creative options within Google Sites as well. So that's having a look at my website there and at the Maths Department one as well. I hope that you found this video useful. If you have, please let me know. If there's anything that you're hoping for a video on, then also please let me know. I'm always looking for new content to try and teach myself about, and also to teach the other teachers at my school about as well. Thanks very much for watching. See you.